Okay, so after probably 100 hours or even more of trying to get this Apache nozzle system working, as you can see here, we have a nozzle in our setup, and it is not the Apache because it's sitting right here. So we did go with the Avalon nozzle and the Avalon tappet plate and everything. We did have to shave the tappet plate down to work with our max hop-up unit here. No big deal there. Our baseline starting out with the base setup when we first got it was 300 FPS with a 0.32. Right where we want to be. 310 is the field limit, so I got to really watch what I'm doing to make more power or less power at that point. Now when we put the Apache in, we instantly got a huge drop. We were probably at about 230, 240 FPS. Now they do advertise that you're going to drop about 15 FPS. Therefore we should be about 285 FPS. So we were way low on power, and I was like, okay, well the nozzle's not sealing on the bucking. So I went and ordered 2 more nozzles. So now I have 3 nozzles, and these are about 20 bucks a pop. So there's $60 in nozzles. So just in nozzles to test and tune this thing, I've already exceeded the cost of the unit of the Apache. So the adjustable nozzle may have worked better, although we didn't get a chance to test it in the defense of Aztec Innovations. Flash forward, we put a bunch of nozzles in it. We've gone through the whole system. We've tried different spring tensions. Nothing has really made it function 100% perfect. So we did start out with this 18.15 millimeter nozzle. It did feed, and it rocked on full auto. Like, it would feed, no problems whatsoever, no double feeds, nothing like that, no misfeeds. The only thing with it was the power is a little bit low. And then after messing with all these different nozzles, I put the 18.15 back in it, and I was getting like 200 FPS, and like it would go 200, 300, then it would be like 100, and it was just really inconsistent. So obviously when the piston comes forward, it's compressing the air in this space between the cylinder head and the actual piston itself and the piston head. So it's trying to squeeze this air here, and then eventually that air compresses, and then it comes out the nozzle, which propels your BB down the barrel. Now, how the Apache works is quite different, and I'm going to disassemble it here real quick just to show you. So this Apache goes in and you have your cylinder sleeve. Obviously this replaces the cylinder head, so it's on the front of the unit here. And what happens is when the air gets compressed behind it, it builds up, and there's a spring in here that keeps it pushed rearward like that, which I just took the spring out to demonstrate for all of you that are going to say something about that. So what happens is when the air pressure becomes X, whatever value that is inside the cylinder between your piston head and the cylinder head here, is this seal essentially breaks. It pops the nozzle forward just like that. So your nozzle is fully extended, and then the tip of the nozzle meets your bucking lips, and then the air is allowed to go from the back of the head here into the nozzle, which propels your BB. When the piston comes forward and cracks this open, boom, instantaneously your cylinder volume is expanding. It's essentially like a virtual cylinder volume at that point, because your compressed air that's in the cylinder here is X PSI at X volume, right? So whatever that might be, I'm just throwing X out as a generic term here. So as soon as that's compressed, what happens? The nozzle pops forward. Okay, well now you have a massive pressure drop, because the compressed air that's compressed to X PSI is now lower pressure because there's more area. So essentially it's a variable cylinder volume is what you're dealing with. You might think, okay, well let's just increase cylinder volume. And that's exactly what I did. We took this cylinder out and I put a full length cylinder, non-ported, the biggest cylinder volume I could possibly get. And what did that yield us? It only yielded about 15 to 20 FPS over what we were doing before. And everything in the compression area here is solid, brand new. And I did check compression every single time I put this Apache back in the gun. Everything was perfect. Like, I am a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. This thing was apart and back together about 700 times. Okay, maybe not 700, but a lot. And I made sure every single time that everything was perfect. So just to summarize, would I recommend this Apache to anybody. At this point in time, no. I would say save your money. So right now I have about 60 into the Apache itself, the base unit. Since we fried the other nozzle, that's gone. So I have 3 nozzles of a fixed length. That puts me close to $120, or right at 120 bucks. You know, plus shipping and tax, obviously. At this point in time, I could have bought a brushless motor, or a gearbox, or better gears, or even an optic. Like, there's so many different things that I would recommend that you spend your money on instead of this system. I'm sure if this nozzle system worked, it would make it more reliable and make it more fun. It did have a very distinctive sound to it. It actually, in fact, behaved more like an HPA setup than an AEG. So I thought that was pretty cool. Whatever the magic formula here is, I couldn't find it. They do actually have a new variant of the Apache out. I would love to test one if Aztec is watching this. If you want to send me one for free, I would be more than happy to test it. I'm not bashing your product here. I'm just giving people the real lowdown of what they can expect if they buy one of these. Until I see any changes or anybody else posting videos, I'm not going to buy any more of these Tappetless nozzle systems. So there you go. There's the honest opinion. Thank you for watching.